Hi, I'm Shelley Wood. You might know me from shelleywood.com. This is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today I'm going to show you how to sew a long sleeve shirt for your 9-inch dolls. If you use metric, that's 23 centimeters to about 24 centimeters tall. Our shirt will have buttons going down the back or in front like you see here. And although I will be using some printed fabric, this shirt looks wonderful in solid colors too. Before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download and print this free PDF pattern. There's a link below the video on YouTube. You'll be making the shirt in view C. Use your pattern to cut out all the pieces you see here. Set one of the backs on top of another back with right sides facing. So right sides facing means the pretty part of the fabric touches the pretty part of the fabric. Sew along the collar like you see here, down the back closure area like you see here, and along the bottom of each of these back pieces. Clip all your seams. Here's a quick video to show you what I mean by clip seams. Invert both backs. Now I like to use a chopstick when I invert, and you'll see me doing that in this clip. You'll see that I use that chopstick to get the corners tight. Press each of the backs, set these aside, and we'll work on the front for a little while. Lay one front on top of another front, once again with the right sides of the fabric facing. Sew the neckline from one shoulder to another. I use a scant 1/4 inch seam, almost like 1/8 inch. You're going to clip this seam and invert the front. And there I am inverting it, and then press that inverted neckline. Lay one of the backs on top of the front, just like you see me doing here. And then you're going to sew across the shoulder. Now you can do this by hand, and with tiny doll clothes sometimes that's easier. But you can also sew it on a sewing machine. Set the other back against the front. And sew across this shoulder too. Open your garment up and press your seams flat. Set one of the sleeves right up against the underarm area of the bodice back. And then you're going to stitch from that underarm area to about 4 millimeters shy of the actual shoulder seam. Stop sewing before you get to that shoulder seam. And you tie a knot right there. Flip the sleeve around. So what I mean by that is you're going to bring that underarm together with the other underarm. So the sleeve underarm to the bodice underarm, and sew again from the underarm to just shy of the shoulder seam. Just like you did before, you're going to stop just shy of it and tie your knot there. There will be a little gap right at the shoulder. Gather the top part of the sleeve where this gap is. Then finish attaching the sleeve to the shoulder along the seam. Create a double fold hem at the end of one sleeve by folding once and then a second time. You can hem using a whip stitch, or you could use your sewing machine. And if you need help with the whip stitch, there's a link to my whip stitch tutorial below, right below this video on YouTube. Now you'll want to follow those steps to attach both of your sleeves, and then flip the garment over and fold it in half at the shoulder. So when you're done folding it in half, you'll see the wrong side of the sleeve. Now the front and back are touching right sides, and you're ready to stitch along the sleeve to close it by sewing from the sleeve's very edge to the underarm, rounding the corner at the underarm, and sewing along the side seam almost until you get to the bottom. Tie a knot 1 centimeter before you get to the back sort of hem area. It's a little less than 1/2 inch from the edge. So there should be a slight gap along this side seam when you're done sewing. Follow these directions for both sides. When both sides have been stitched, fold the bodice's front's raw edges inside itself. So I'm opening up that front where the raw edges are. See how I'm opening it with my fingernails? I'm pushing those edges inside, and there's that little gap. Okay, so now I'm ready to whip stitch along the bottom of the garment's front to seal off this opening. Remember how we left those side seams unfinished? Well, once you finish with the front, whip stitching that front's base, then you're going to finish the side seams, sewing from where you left off all the way down to the bottom. Now your shirt looks like this, and it's pretty close to done. Once again, I use a chopstick to invert the shirt, and watch how I twist my chopstick to get those sleeves to come through nicely. That's kind of a trick that helps. Add soft Velcro to the back closure. Now I stitched some tiny buttons down the back, but on the purple one, the lavender colored top, I stitched them down the front. And you're ready to try your shirt on your doll. For more free printable sewing patterns, remember to visit my website, shelleywood.com. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos and free patterns, please share them on your favorite social media platforms. It actually helps my website grow if you help me spread the word. Goodbye.